I'd like to do is just debunk some of the traditional thinking people have around horizontal drilling. The technology we're talking about not only gets more energy out of the ground faster, more efficiently, it leaves, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but it sounds like a radically smaller footprint.
Right.
Where's the headline?
I mean, I think that's the story of horizontal drilling. We're covering more ground with less impact to the surface. We improve the amount of oil that we can recover. It just is better for America.
Hey, everybody. I forgot to turn the sound on.
This is Venue
never mind
3.
commercials. We're
It
getting ready to
knows
talk
that
about
today
how
is a perfect day to be active, and that
the
your fitness is
Palestinians
improving
Jews.
because you know when to
And it's
work
kinda
out
odd,
and when to recover.
and ironic,
Know the real you
because
with Venue 3 series.
this is what it came up to right here. Okay? This is what it came down to. A freaking war for what? Okay? Peace? Harmony? Land? No, the war came down because some idiots killed some other idiots, and now the other idiots are firing back, killing the other people. Let it be on accident, people are still dying. So don't hate me for what I'm getting ready to say, but that's the way it is. Now, you're going to see off to that side, there's a little deal that says Palestine and Israel. That's a book that I wrote, and I'm going to take a few things, but the first thing I want to do is I want to highlight something. I got to pull it up. Hope it don't mess with my stream, but I got to pull it up, and I want you to think about what I'm going to say, okay? Because Israel, I'm sorry. Even though Abraham promised you that God gave you that area, it was the Palestinians first. There were different tribes that lived there. But I want to read you something. That way, you know I'm citing the source. Okay? So give me a moment. I'm going to cite the source as soon as I get to it. Now, this comes from, let's see. This comes from ancient Jewish history, and it actually comes from jewishvirtuallibrary.org, and you can look it up. I'll put the description I'll put the address or the citation in the description. You can check it out. It says, when the Hebrews arrived at Canaan, the land promised to them millennia earlier, when God told Abraham at Shechem that the land would belong to his descendants. Okay? And it says they began a long, painful, and disappointing process of settling the land. There were, after all, people already living there. These people, the Canaanites, were a Semitic people speaking a language remarkably close to Hebrew. They were farmers, they were nomads, but they were also civilized. They used the great Mesopotamian cities as their model and built modest imitations of them. They also have learned military technology and tactics from the Mesopotamians, as well as law. So the Hebrews, uncivilized at that time, tribal nomadics, found themselves facing a formidable enemy. Even the accounts of the period in the Hebrew Bible, the books of Joshua and Judges, paint a pretty dreary picture of the occupation. Now, the Hebrews were actually, the Jews, the Hebrews, whatever you want to call, were ran out of there. I'm going to continue to talk about it. It said all during this period, the Hebrews rarely, if ever, organized into a single group. They were divided rather into separate tribes, which administered themselves using tribal logic. There was no center of Yahweh worship as there would be later years. No central government. There are, however, two types of figures that regularly dominate the landscape: the judges and the deliverers. The judges was a curious sort, and we're not sure what the office involved. Okay, what we do know is that they exercised some authority over the tribes of Israel, and were generally recognized by all the tribes. While the translation of the term judges seem to imply judicial activities, that is, deciding disputes between tribes in the word of Hebrew, shopatim, which I am is plural, implies legislative duties as well. So it's possible that the judges exercise some kind of legislative. Okay, we got to that, and there's the deliverers, which were military commanders, and they organized armies and stuff. And then there was the Hebrews themselves, however, did not seem to have settled comfortably into the Yahweh religion. According to the Hebrew history, the Hebrews regularly abandoned the Yahweh religion for local religions, particularly Canaanite, Palestinian religion. The Canaanite religion focused on the god at that time was Baal, and the Hebrews frequently disassembled their Yahweh altars and built altars to Baal. Those Hebrews that settled in the Canaanite cities were literally disappeared in the Canaanite religion. The Yahweh religion seemed to have been largely maintained among the nomadic groups in the hill country. And it says, uncertain, this is the last part, uncertain of their future, racked by constant warfare, even civil war, and barely holding to the Yahweh religion, the Hebrews would eventually long for the identity and stability of a unified nation and a monarchy. The act of disobedience towards Yahweh, according to the Hebrew account, would turn this scattered group into tribes into a briefly glorious kingdom empire. So, with that being said, I don't want nobody getting mad at me, but the Hebrews were not the first ones in that area. It was the Canaanites, the Philistines, Palestinians. They were the ones that were there first. Okay? Now, I've taken some excerpts out of this book. I want you to understand, it took me a while to write this book, and I was like, because I didn't understand what was going on. We got this war here. It's been going on since I was a little kid, and the churches never really let us understand or teach us actually what was going on at that time. We heard there was a battle in Canaan. It was beautiful. It was prosperous. But that's all we really knew. And I never heard the story in truth what it was about until I went and found out what was going on. Now, before I make some people mad, I am a Christian, okay? Don't get me wrong. I am a Christian. We should not be seeing this at all. But Palestinians, you got screwed. And I'm going to show you. I'm going to tell you. It's in this book. Never mind the commercials. They always throw a commercial in there. But they always never fails. They never fail to leave stuff out in history, no matter what. And so we're going to go over that real quick. I'm going to block the sound for a little bit off the desktop. But they do this all the time. And I don't know why they do it all the time. But they do. So, we're going to go over it after this commercial. I don't want no interruptions. Now we're back to where we're going. So I'm going to pull a few excerpts out of the book that I wrote, and I want you to understand. If you think I'm wrong, you go ahead and tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong in the chat. I'll answer you back. So, to all my Arabic friends, people who speak Arabic that monitor my channel, that watch my channel, give me a thumbs up, because, like I said, I'm actually standing for you guys in a way. So, at least give me a thumbs up now. Come on. Give me a like. Watch the whole video through, because you're going to enjoy this. Because I'm going to show you something. in a little bit. Okay. What was the religious significance of Israel or Canaan at the time? For the Jews, the land of Canaan, later known as the Promised Land, holds immense religious importance. Okay? It may not be religious importance to the Palestinians or the other people who are there, because there were other tribes that was living there, in which they make up Jordan, Iran, all the Middle East countries. Okay? So it's considered a place where God's covenant with the Hebrews was established, and where the first and second temple stood in Jerusalem. The early presence of Canaanites and Hebrews in the region set the stage for the complex and intertwined history of the area. It laid the foundation for religious and cultural connections and narratives of both peoples, and deeply impacted the development of the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, contributing to the historical claims and disputes over the land. Now, I remember back when I was a kid, I'd see this and I wouldn't think twice about it. As I got as an adult and I started watching the wars, and I was always really fond of Arafat, because he seemed like he really cared. Okay, he seemed like he really cared, and Arafat was pretty cool. I listened to him talk. He had an awesome. The Palestinians have a lot of culture. They have a lot of pride, and we're not going to talk about what's going on back here per se, but it's important to realize that what's going on now that you see behind me on this screen is what all this is leading up to. And then you'll find out what your answer is in a minute. So, the hatred for the Jews at that time, y'all were fighting. And it came a battle. You guys won. See, y'all won. And it just kept going on and on and on. Okay? Now, in 1636 CE, the pivotal battle of Yarmouk, I think I'm saying that right. If I'm not saying it right, go in the chat, tell me I'm not saying it right. And then tell me how to say it right. Okay? Yarmouk took the place, leading to the defeat of the Byzantine forces and the establishment of Arab control over that region. Now, he is a popular figure. I've seen stuff about him in movies, foreign films, so I've seen it. And he was a great leader for the Arabic nation. All right. Now, the political impact, the religious and political impact, you guys ain't going to like this. Okay? Palestinians, you're not going to like this. My Arab friends, you're not going to like this. I'm sorry. But it's going to happen. So, I'm going to go from here. And I'm going to ask you to support our channel. There will be a description in the description. There will be a place where you can tip us. Matter of fact, I know it's there right now. Go ahead, like and subscribe. If you want to support the streams that I do, go ahead, please do. I welcome you. Okay. Now, what was I saying? The religious and political impact. I've got this written down, so if I look kind of awkward, it's because I'm written down. It came from this book I wrote. And it took me a while to write it. So you guys, when you get a chance, pick it up. It's only $5, and it ain't very much. Pick it up. It says, the Arab conquest brought with it the spread of Islam and as a dominant religion in the region, Arab Muslim rulers encouraged the conversion of the Israel population to Islam. You encouraged them. It didn't say you were bombing them. It didn't say you were stabbing them. When the Arab religion came into control, y'all were encouraging them. I wasn't there at the time. I don't know how it was done. All I'm saying is that you were encouraging the Israeli people at the time to be switch to Islam. Okay. The area, including Jerusalem, gained immense religious significance in Islam. The Al-Aqsa Mosque in Jerusalem became the third holiest site in Islam, and it is believed to be the site of the Prophet Muhammad's night journey. Okay, now, people are going to ask me, they're going to say, well, who was first? Muhammad or Jesus? Well, I'm going to cite this in the description later, and you can read it. Okay? Let me get to it. It says, according to Answers.com, and it says Prophet Muhammad was born in year 570 AD and received his first good revelation or God revelation in year 610. 30 years old. Okay? This means Prophet Muhammad was born 570 years after Jesus' birth. Okay? We know the biblical account. We know all that. Jesus was born what did it say? Jesus was born 4 BC. Okay. So, according to that, and this statistic, and I'll leave this in the description, Muhammad was born 574 years after Jesus. By normal human parents, there was no known prophecy about his birth. There was nothing miraculous about his birth either, unlike Jesus. That's what it states. You can dispute it with me all you want. That's where I got the answer from. So that's where we're going to leave it. Alright? Now, it says the third holiest site in Islam. Now here, my friend the Palestinians, you screwed yourself. Okay? Do you know anything about the millet system? MILLET system and religious diversity. You're going to recognize a few things. Even you younger generation Palestinians. It says, introduction of the millet system, the Ottoman Empire employed a unique system of governance known as the millet system. This system recognized religious communities as distinct legal entities, which each with its own leaders and legal systems. Millets were self-governing in matters of the personal status, family law, and religious affair. Excellent. You knew exactly what to do. Your ancestors knew exactly what to do. This right here does not really affect you. I mean, it's probably still going today, but you govern and you direct your own tribes, which is cool, which is the way it should be. Okay. The religious diversity, harmony deferred. Okay. Unraveling the Strands, that's the book I wrote right here. It says, Harmony Deferred, Unraveling the Strands of Israeli-Palestinian Relations. It says, that's the book. Okay? That's all I'm going to say. That's the name of the book. You guys can get it if you want to get it. It says the millet system acknowledged the religious diversity of the empire. Religious communities were classified as millets based on their faith, and each millet was led by a religious head. I don't know what you have. I think it's a cleric. In Iran, it's an Ayatollah. In the Jewish faith, it's rabbi. And in our Christian beliefs, it is pastor or minister or reverend. So you can say that. All right. Religious communities were classified as millets based on their faith, and each millet is led by a religious head, such as a patriarch for the Orthodox Christians or a chief rabbi for the Jews. These leaders had authority over their respective communities and were responsible for handling internal matters. Now, guys, that's the way it should be, okay? Now, I don't think it's like that a lot. There's still some there, and because, like I said, Iraq, Iran, Jordan, they have different leaders. Okay, they have different leaders. Okay, the millet tolerance and autonomy. The millet system allowed for a degree of religious freedom and autonomy. Non-Muslims were permitted to practice their faith and follow their religious laws. This arrangement also provided a level of protection for religious minorities. You had a level of protection for them. For them, the Christians, all of them, you had a level of protection for them. Okay? They said, who can resolve the internal disputes based on their religious traditions? Now, here's where it starts getting bad. My Palestinians, I still got love for you. Jews, I still got love for you. Christians, I still got love for you. But it might get horrible a little bit. Just bear with me. This is stuff I'm reading you from the book that I wrote. And I had to do a lot of going back and looking at records. I had to go back looking at manuscripts. Even going back through your history. Okay, so I'm going to leave it at that. We're going to keep on going. So it says a pre-Zionist background. Now, when I hear Zionist, I hear what we got going on now. I hear what the Germans did to the Jews. They called them Zionists. What our Ku Klux Klan and all of our anti-Semitic groups are doing, calling them Zionists. I hear that. I see it. And no one seems to understand that that is a kind of a bad word in a way. But let me read on. It says, before the emergence of the modern Zionism, Jewish communities have lived in a diaspora for centuries. The idea of returning to the historical homeland of the Jewish people, then known as, now known as Palestine, was a theme in Jewish religious texts and cultural traditions for generations. Theodor Herzl and First Zionist Congress, the modern Zionist movement is often credited to Theodor Herzl, an Austrian-Hungarian journalist and playwright. Herzl was deeply affected by the Dreyfus Affair and the infamous case of anti-Semitic persecution in France. In 1896, Herzl published The Jewish State, in which he argued for the establishment of a Jewish homeland in Palestine. He called for the international support and political action to realize this goal. In 1897, Herzl convened for the first Zionist Congress in Basel, Switzerland. The Congress marked the social beginning, or the official beginning of the Zionist movement, with delegates from various countries discussing the idea of a Jewish homeland. Zionist ideology and goals. Modern Zionism aimed to address the issues of Jewish persecution, anti-Semitism, and identity. Its proponents sought to establish a secure, sovereign Jewish homeland where Jews could live in safety and practice their culture and religion. They wanted a homeland. Okay? They wanted a homeland where they could actually do the things that they wanted to do, you know? And there's nothing wrong in that, but they, they did a lot of stuff and went through a lot of stuff that was anti-Semitic, the hatred for the Jews. And the Palestinians were one of them. And I can understand it, that in a way, because y'all had been fighting forever. Y'all had been fighting forever. Okay? Let me find my place here. I went past my place. But it was really, really a horrible situation for both the Palestinians and the Jews. I mean, the Palestinians had an army and everything like that, but it was just not good for either group. Okay. Trying to get past all the timeline here, but the place, what's important. Okay. Now, I'm going to read here. Before we go any further, I left this out, and I don't know why I left it out, but I left it out. Okay. There it goes. And it says now, I'm at the Jewish, I found it. It says the Jewish immigration to Palestine, early immigration ways. In the late 19th and 20th centuries, Jewish immigration to Palestine increased. Jewish immigrants known as Olims, I don't know how they pronounce it, came from various parts of Europe, particularly Eastern Europe, where they faced the anti-Semitism and persecution. Every immigrant established particular settlements such as kibbutzism and moshavim, and I don't know how to pronounce it. Okay? Now, during World War One, World War I had a significant impact on the region. In 1917, the British government, here is where you got screwed, Palestinians. 1917, the British government issued the Balfour Declaration, which expressed a support for establishment of a national home for the Jewish people in Palestine. Jewish immigration increased following the Balfour Declaration, and the British assumed control of Palestine after the war as a part of the League of Nations mandate. This period marked a turning point in the Zionist movement. Okay? Now, I want to go back a little bit before I started this part right here. You, the Palestinians, during the millet system, were only allowed to, you were allowed to own land, you were allowed to do something, but the Jews had to pay taxes. The Christians had to pay taxes. They were less, as far as citizens, to this area than you. And so I think what you're seeing is maybe history repeats itself. I don't know. But I'm not going to say much more than that. I'm just reading certain things out of this book just to help you understand, and those that understand, what's going on. Okay? Now, The British Mandate for Palestine from 1920 to 1948 goes as, after World War I, the League of Nations granted Britain the mandate to govern Palestine. The mandate included a responsibility to facilitate the establishment of a national home for the Jewish people, while safeguarding the rights of non-Jewish communities, Palestinians. The Mandate era was marked by tensions and conflicts between Jews and the Arab communities. Jewish immigration continued, leading to demographic changes in the region. Now, I want you to realize where we're at now within this war, those explosions. Here's where you start seeing in the book that I wrote, and what you're seeing now is actually what's going on. It says Arab communities in Palestine opposed the growing Jewish presence in the British Mandate. The option led to several riots and conflicts, including the Arab Revolt of 1936 to 1939. Okay, we got the creation of the Arab states. We got all that. Now, we're getting ready to show you how this war started, came from the same type of people that was back then. Okay, let me see if I can find it here. Okay, let's go to it here. In 1936 and 1939, Arab revolts was a significant event in the evolution of Palestinian nationalism. It is a widespread and sustained protest against British rule and Jewish immigration. Your paranoia, if you guys could have got along, your paranoia, you would not be here now. You would thrive together. The Jews were trying to find their place. You already had your place. But the paranoia of these people, because you were at that time much stronger than the Jews. You at that time had military. You at that time had all the weapons. So there's not a whole lot of things that could have happened to y'all. Okay? So we're going to keep in this section. And I'm going to probably end it somewhere around this section. Okay? It says, in 1938, there had a significant evolution of Palestinian nationalism. It was a widespread and sustained protest against British rule and Jewish immigration. It says Arab leaders and communities believed that a successful revolt would pressure the British and the Jewish immigration and establishment of an independent Palestinian state. The revolt was marked by strikes, demonstrations, and acts of sabotage against the British authorities and Jewish settlements. The same daggum thing that's going on right now is the same daggum thing that happened back then. Prominent leaders such as Sheikh Izz and Din al-Qassam played influential roles in organizing and leading the resistance. Okay? So, this stuff right here is what happens when you start doing strikes and sabotage to get your way. People don't agree with me, but your paranoia got in the way. I'm going to answer the question right now. Are you justified in feeling the way you do towards the Jews? Yes, you are justified. Hate? No. Because you taxed the heck out of them. You limited them. They couldn't own land. And now the tables have turned. The tables are turned. And all because these people, like when you had this recent election back in, I don't know, the 20 teens, you had this election that voted Hamas in after Israel gave you back your state, gave you a state. Do I think you should have had barbed wire? No. Do I think you should have had a fence? No. But when you voted Hamas into office, That's what got you where you're going. Now, the British and the UN got together in the book. I read you a little bit from the book. But the British and the UN got together and said enough's enough, and they divided the Palestinians up in two, the West Bank and Gaza Strip, and gave the rest for the Jews right there. They got what they believed came from God, and it probably did. But you cannot keep doing this and expecting something good. You have thousands of wounded people in the middle of the night suffering because a group wanted to go across the border and kill people and take hostages. Do I care if Hamas sees this? No. Do I care if anybody sees this? No. Because I'm telling you, everybody in this situation is wrong. They got it wrong. The Palestinians got it wrong. The Jews got it wrong. Everybody got it wrong. The Christians got it wrong. The Christians wasn't telling us anything in deal. They didn't go back in history. They all stuck to one deal and say, "Oh, praise you, praise you, praise you," stuff like that. I'm not going to bend. I'm not going to break. But I'm telling you, I wrote this book for a reason. And that is the reason. What you see behind me, explosions going and everything, you need to turn over Hamas. You need to go after them yourselves. You would probably have more realistic of a chance. Don't be afraid. You believe in Allah. You believe in Mohammed. If you're sure of your religion, go get them. Like the people did with the guy from Libya, Muammar Gaddafi. Everybody's wrong in this situation. Palestinians, I love you to death. Jews, I love you to death. Christians, I love you to death. But when we don't make the right choices, this is what you get. What are you, guys, whether or not you believe in what I'm saying is irrelevant to me. The truth is the truth. I'm bringing you the truth. I found it. I went through it. I want you to understand. I created this video because someone asked me, well, how do you know Hamas or the terrorists hit the southern and wasn't Israel? It was some jackwad. Hello there, Natushi. How you doing? Thank you for saying something. Saying hi. So I'm going to tell you hi back. I am from Oklahoma. I am from the United States. How about you? But let me get back to what I was saying. The Palestinians are a proud and strong and powerful people. And they should be recognized. They should not live behind the fence. The Jews did it back during World War II. They lived behind the fence. They were gassed. They were lit up in a furnace. In my country right now, where I'm at, it is 3:36. I am in Central Standard Time, Natushi. I hope I'm saying it right. Or I just need to get hooked on phonics. Just joking. I hope I'm saying it right. But I'm hoping everybody gets along. I hope there's no more deaths with the Palestinians. I hope they get down there where the supplies are at so they can eat. And I really am thankful because I have friends that are Palestinians and they're great people. But to answer everybody's question, I do believe the Palestinians were screwed in the deal. And you know who screwed them? The UN. The United Nations screwed them. And I could go into more depth and detail. Oh, you're from Sri Lanka, huh? Awesome. Beautiful place. I watch videos. I live stream videos so I can watch different parts of the countries. But Palestinians are awesome people, man. They are. They got a strong culture. They're strong-willed. And guys, I hope and pray that all of you, all the rest of you, make it out. No injuries. I just hope and pray. I hope you make it through. And like I said, I'm done with my stream today. If you want to subscribe, like the video, subscribe it. And if you want to support our streams, go ahead and in the video down below in the description there is a link. You just leave a tip. It can be $1, it can be $5, whatever you want to do. Oh, what do I think about the war? It's interesting. I think it's a bunch of crap. I think that the way it started was horrible. I think a lot of people, innocent people, got killed. Both sides. Like I said, I love the Palestinians. I love the Jews. You know, I love that area of the country and of the world. And just like I like China and the Philippines and Japan, I love the Oriental culture. But I think the war is, to me, unjust. It started, which it shouldn't have started in the first place. It shouldn't have started with people going across the border and killing people and kidnapping babies. That's where I draw the line. Shouldn't have started. I mean, yeah, I don't see the reason behind living behind the fence, but I knew that they were at war centuries and centuries, way before Jesus' birth, way before Muhammad's birth. So I've known that for a long time. What do you think about the war? I'm not going to log off. We got a conversation going. Let's get this going. What do you think about the war? I don't want to see innocent people get killed. But yeah, I'm sad to see this. I stream every day. I show streams every day. And I hope everybody gets subscribed so they can get in here with me. I think this war is a very inhuman war. And which side am I on? I'm on the side of the people that got killed, both Jews and Palestinians. I'm not on the people's side that are fighting. I'm on the side of the people that are dying. I'm on their side. They should have food. There's, for me, I've watched the news coverages. I've watched them all. That's the reason why I wrote the book. That's the reason why I wrote the book, was to let everybody have an understanding. And I read from it on this. But I'm on the Palestinians and the Jews side. The people who got killed, those babies who got killed, I'm on their side. I'm not on the people who are fighting, who are shooting rockets and cannons at each other. I'm not on either one of their sides. I have a shirt that we have in our merch. I've not put everything up because I want to get into this, because I feel that the Palestinians got a raw deal. They had the land but way before the Jews did. Way before it. And they were selling it. When the Jews settled on there, they tried to settle on there, they were nomads. They had no country. And that's from their own virtual library, that when I'm done with the video, I'm going to put it up there. And everybody can go back and read it. Let me look at that again. You talking about the Baha'i faith? I don't hardly know anything about it. I really don't. I'm being honest. Because in America, we have Christians, Muslims, we have atheists, we have all of them. I know there's that Baha'i faith is here. I just don't know much about them. But yeah, the innocent are what's happening. I don't like seeing this war. I mean, I live stream it all day long. I live streamed the war for 15 hours yesterday, and I just don't like how the Palestinians are not being able to make it out of there. I would tell them, cut a hole in the fence, something. Get them out of that country, put them way down there on the Israeli side, way it's the south. That way they're not being bothered, and then the countries can do whatever they're going to do. That's the way I look at it. I mean, the innocent should never be without water, electricity, the necessities. But yeah, so I mean, I want people to pick this book up and read it so they can understand it. Because there's stuff in there I didn't even know, and I had to go and search and look for it. I had to go and search and look for it. And like I said, I do sports. I like to do video games, sports, like reaction videos and shorts. I didn't expect to be on for an hour on this live stream, but I mean, we blessed. But hey, I'm going to end the stream. I am looking forward to hearing from. I'm looking forward to seeing some people subscribe. Yeah, I really am. But hey, y'all have a great day. Oh, okay, let's see. What would you do if you became an Israeli citizen because of this Palestinian war? Well, it's like this. I would not become an Israeli citizen because of a war. I would become an Israeli citizen if I needed to. I'm an American. I am from the USA. I am a proud redneck. I'm a Southerner by nature. I'm a Southerner born and bred. So actually, my family came from the Civil War, but like I said, we still fight for our country and love our country. I wouldn't do it just because of this war. Now, I do know that with the investigations that the FBI has put in, they would, there are groups here from the Middle East that are not who we want here. But if things start going wrong, they will take care of whatever they got to take care of. So,
Hours of
No.
love from you.
I wouldn't do it.
All the right parts from us.
I love both of them. I could
eBay
not
guaranteed
choose between the two. I would not choose between the two. If that answers your question. I have a strong will. I'm not going to do it because I'm from here. I hate hearing the bombs in the back. So let me ask you this question: If you would you turn into a Palestinian and or Israeli citizen because of this war? And the reason why, if you don't mind me asking. Boom, 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 boom. Gotta look for something real quick. Wow, that was loud. Okay, now I'm back to normal. We get a few things going. I'm back to normal now. Alright guys, if there are any more questions, let me know, because I'm getting ready to go ahead and end this stream. And I'll be back on tonight later on, and we can talk. Alright guys, thank you very much, y'all.